Welcome to Plutus IAS. We have come with another video lecture on quick revision on geography. Prelims are near and lot many topics to do, but we have segregated the most important topics and I have come with very important questions on them. So let's start. The first question we have is, consider the following statement. The first statement says the reef formation in India is restricted to Lakshadweep, Andaman and Nicobar Island. Second option is more than 1/3 of the world's coral reefs are located in the territories of Australia, Indonesia, Philippines. The third says the corals are found in the tropical oceans and seas only. Which of the following are correct? First, understand what is the coral reef, right? So coral reefs are submarine features. They are submarine features. And how they are formed? They are formed due to the accumulation and compaction of the secretion of lime, right? So these are the coral reefs, right? And also you need to understand that coral reefs are having lot of other stuff related to it. For example, coral reefs, as you know, they make the symbiotic relationship with the zooxanthellae. What are the zooxanthellae? While the coral reefs provide the shade and support to the zooxanthellae, the zooxanthellae has the properties of making their own food, through photosynthesis. Also, it provides color to the coral reefs. Without zooxanthellae, coral reefs look pale, white, right? This is the whole sum up of the coral reefs. Now apart from that, coral reefs also go through lot of diseases, right? For example, they go through bleaching, which we call it as coral bleaching. This coral bleaching is basically the degradation of the coral reefs, and this has been the major concern around the globe because the degradation of the coral reefs is happening, right? Also, where the coral reefs are found, so how they are able to thrive. So the first characteristic is they thrive in optimal temperature, which is 20 to 22 degrees Celsius, neither too warm, neither too cold. Apart from that, they do not stay in a very shallow area, not deep area, because they require what? Proper sunlight and oxygen for their survival, right? So this is the whole sum up of the coral reefs. This is what you have revised with me, the whole coral reefs, right? Now the question arises where they are found. So majorly they are found in the tropical region, right? Regions, that's true. That is, they are found here in tropical and subtropical regions, right? But the point is that is not true that they are only found in the tropical regions. Okay, although this area provides the optimum temperature and the facility for them to survive, but then you can't say that they are only found in the tropical areas. Okay. Apart from that, we will discuss that where in India they are found. So first, they are found in Gulf of Mannar, right? They are found in Gulf of Kutch, Gulf of Kutch, here this side, right, Gulf of Kutch. Okay, and also they are found in Andaman and Nicobar and Lakshadweep. Okay, so this is not the only place where they are found. They are found also where in Gulf of Mannar, in Park Strait, in Gulf of Kutch, right? Now, why not Gulf of Khambat and Gulf of Kutch? Reason being, because the area, the coral reefs cannot survive in a very narrow and shallow areas. They need what? Open seas for their survival, right? They require open areas, right? So the first question is incorrect. More than 1/3 of the world's coral reef are located in the territories of Australia, Indonesia, Philippines. Now this question is very static. This portion is very static. Now you need to know that yes, majorly the coral reefs are found. The coral reefs are found in the Australia, Indonesia and Philippines, but these are not the only places where they are found. So in Australia it is found 17%, in Indonesia 16% and Philippines 12%. If you calculate it, it will be more than 1/3, right? So this statement is also correct. Now this statement, which is only found in the tropical areas, which is wrong. Why? Because you also found it in North Atlantic Ocean, right? There are other places where you find coral reefs. So this would be wrong. So third is wrong, right? First and second are correct. Now moving to the next question quickly. With reference to United Nations Convention on the Laws of Sea, UNCLOS, consider the following statement. UNCLOS establishes exclusive economic zones extending up to 200 nautical miles from a country's baseline. Second is, convention grants all states the right to conduct military exercises in another country's territorial water. The third is, convention grants all states in the right to conduct military exercise in another. Okay, this has been repeated actually, so you can just focus on the first two questions, right? So first one is saying UNCLOS establish EEZ, right? First you need to understand what is UNCLOS first of all. Okay, so with respect to UNCLOS, we can discuss that it's a legal framework. Legal framework for what? For marine and maritime activities, right? So you need to have a legal framework with respect to marine and maritime activities. It is also known as the laws of seas. Okay, so UNCLOS is not the first legal agreement that we are having. There were also in the 17th century we had the freedom of seas, which says that which area will be covered by which territory. So you can say in the ancient time we used to have freedom of seas, but now we have regulated framework for it by the UNCLOS. Okay. Next, it is also known as laws of sea. It is the only international convention which stipulates a framework for state jurisdiction in maritime spaces. It provides the backbone for the offshore governance, and the first conference on the laws of seas was held in 1965 at Geneva, Switzerland by the United Nations. In prelims, this can be asked that when the first meeting was held, it was held in 1956, right? And then you can also learn the date of the enforcement, right? And when it got functional, okay? And who has signed? For example, India has signed the AND clause, right? So this key features are important with respect to AND clause. Now another important thing that you need to focus when the AND clause has been discussed, that which zones are representing what, then only you will be able to attempt that question, okay? So first understand that first we have the baseline. What is the baseline? It is the area or a land, right? Or you can see the sea just adjacent to the coast, right? Now from the baseline we are having what? If I am calculating the first zone, which is my territorial sea, which is how much? 12 nautical miles from this baseline, right? Then this is what? Territorial sea. Now what is the function of territorial sea? The first, that everything is allowed in the territorial sea with respect to the airspace, also national airspace is allowed. Next, the sovereignty is on the land as well as airspace, right? Here you have written what? National airspace. Please understand, international airspace is not allowed in the territorial sea. National airspace is allowed, right? So can I say the sovereignty lies here under the ocean, like on the surface of the ocean, under the ocean also we can say, and also on the over the sea, right? Next comes the contiguous zone, right? This is, you have to calculate from the baseline, which is 24 nautical miles, which is 24 nautical miles. Now when we talk about the 24 nautical miles of contiguous zone, here also exploration activities and marine activities is allowed, right? But here what is not happening? The international airspace can come to this area, right? Next we have the exclusive economic zone. Exclusive economic zone is the intermediary between the contiguous zone and the high seas. In between lies EEZ. Now what is the feature? That it is 200 nautical miles away from the baseline, right? And international space is allowed there, right? Any sea innocence passage is allowed. Please remember, innocence passage is not allowed in the territorial sea, right? There have been a lot of cases of the innocent passage, right? In the Kerala, in Tamil Nadu, there are a lot of cases which have been there of the innocence passage in the territorial region, right? So innocence passage is not allowed here, but it is allowed here, right? Now EEZ is an intermediary between the contiguous zone and the high seas, right? Area after that is high sea, right? Also you need to understand that how much exploration is allowed. So marine exploration is activity is allowed till here. For example, the state has the sovereignty here, as I told you, of the land and the airspace, but the state here do not have the sovereignty of the upper airspace. They have the sovereignty of only the land, right? Okay, the question is saying, I will repeat the question again. It is saying that UNCLOS established EEZ extending up to 200 nautical miles. This we have seen from the country's baseline, definitely. Second is convention grants all states the right to conduct military exercise in another country's territorial water. Yes, that is not all the states, please understand. Conduct military in country's territorial, no, not all the states. So this part is incorrect and only the first part of the question is correct. So you can write only first statement is correct. And I have explained you why, right? Now the next question is, consider the following statement. Salinity levels are highest in the tropical regions of the ocean. Okay, the salinity levels are higher in the tropical regions of the ocean. Statement 2, subtropical regions experience high evaporation rates and low precipitation leading to increased salinity. First understand what is salinity. Salinity is coming because of the, it's a salt only, NaCl, right? Or what is that? NaCl only. So if evaporation is happening, then only the NaCl deposition will happen, right? And how the deposition of NaCl will happen? The deposition of NaCl will happen through first evaporation. If the stronger will be by evaporation, the stronger will be the deposition of the NaCl or salts, which will lead to the increase in salinity, right? Which will lead to increase in salinity. Now salinity levels are higher. Why it is higher in subtropical regions? We have studied in climatology that subtropical regions are the regions of high pressure zone or high pressure belt, right? Since they are the regions of high pressure belt, so what will not happen? Less precipitation. Since there will be less precipitation, inflow of water will be less, and when inflow of water will be minimal, and parallelly what will happen? Parallelly your evaporation is more. Evaporation is more. This will lead to accumulation of more salts, accumulation of or deposition of more salts. Therefore, the salinity of this area is higher, right? Because of these two reasons. Why? Because the evaporation of the particular area is more, and simultaneously it is a region of the high pressure belts, and therefore the precipitation here will be less, and because both the factors combined, you will have more salinity in these areas, right? Now statement 2 is subtropical regions experience high evaporation rates and low precipitation leading to increased salinity. Definitely this is also right. Both 1 and 2 statements are correct. Next is the Saraso Sea. To attempt this question, you should definitely know the different currents. In the previous lecture of mine, I have emphasized on the ocean currents and also I have told you what are the warm ocean currents and the cold ocean currents. In those ocean currents, that is obviously the most important topic in the oceanography. If you have revised that topic, you will be able to solve this question. The first is Saraso Sea is a vast area of the Atlantic Ocean and is defined by which of the following currents, right? First you need to understand where the Saraso Sea is, right? I'll explain you through the maps. So Saraso Sea is an open sea, and it is only open sea in world, only open sea, okay, in the world. Now it is surrounded by different currents. So if I talk about the currents, it is enclosed with that. First is north equatorial current. This is the current which is surrounding it in the south. In the west side we have the Gulf Stream. You know that the North Atlantic current is divided into the first part is the Gulf Stream, right? Then you have what? Here you have the Canary current, right? It is enclosed by that, and Canary is a cold current. It is coming from here, right, near the Labrador. Okay. Gulf Stream is a warm current. Similarly, North Equatorial Current is also warm current. Right. So these are some of the currents through which it has been enclosed, and Saraso Sea is the only open sea which is having no borders with any land. Okay. So the first is saying Gulf Stream. Will it be correct? Yes. Next is North Atlantic, Canary, and North Atlantic Equatorial Current. So all of the options 1, 2, 3, 4 are correct, and we have seen in the diagram also, right? So we have covered some of the important topics of the oceanography and some of the conceptual topics of the salinity, right, which are very important to understand the whole mechanism. I hope this lecture is going to be really helpful for you. I'll come back with another lecture with more important topics. Till the time, please have the best revision, and I wish everyone all the best.